Hello and welcome to the award-winning MVP, the Master's Voice podcast from Mediabrief.com. I'm your host and friend Pavan Chawla, founder editor of Mediabrief, and I am truly delighted to welcome my distinguished guest, Avinash Pandey, Chief Executive Officer, ABP Network. This man is an institution. He's a young veteran, literally, and even then he has more than, 25 years, a quarter of a century of experience. He's a thought leader, a media leader, and even an industry captain. And the most wonderful thing about this amazing person is, A, he's very self-effacing, very soft-spoken, and at the same time, I think his mission in life, and I know that from my offline conversations with him, is to empower the youngsters so that the industry, the various subsectors and sectors and the nation all grow together. He has a heart that beats for professionals, and in fact, you would have seen how ABP Network has been partnering with and supporting all the industry associations, the good ones, with events that are knowledge-driven events. And I think the last time I met him was at the Subhash Ghoshal Memorial Lecture, where ABP Network actually supported another amazing industry captain, Arun Puri's address. So that's the kind of man he is, and he believes in giving and sharing. Avinash, long introduction, but then I couldn't do justice and just say, hey, this is Avinash Pandey, welcome. But now I can say, Avinash, welcome to the episode. Thank you so much for your time. You've flown in today from Delhi, and in the middle of a busy day, you've given me your time.
Thank you so much for calling me, Pavan. It is such a pleasure.
Thank you very much, and thanks also to your wonderful associate Mohit, who's made this possible. So, Avinash, before we start, पहले तो मैंने अपनी तरफ से दिल से बात करी आपके साथ. हम बाइलिंगुअल बात करेंगे. आप हिंदी नेटवर्क के भी, मराठी नेटवर्क के भी, बांग्ला नेटवर्क के भी करता हैं. So it'll be a bilingual thing. I think I'll slip into Hindi where I can with your permission, and this is for a lot of
Zarur.
Indians and global people who follow and love ABP Network and all your excellent offerings across linear and digital. So, Avinash, before I start, now, this is my profile of you, my understanding of you, to share to the young professionals, because that's what this series is all about. It's empowering youngsters with the knowledge and insights of industry leaders like you. So thank you once again, and by your leave, here goes. My truly distinguished guest on this episode of MVP, the Master's Voice podcast, is Avinash Pandey, Chief Executive Officer, ABP Network, and President of the News Broadcasters and Digital Association, NBDA. He is also President of the India chapter of the International Advertising Association, or IAA. Avinash Pandey has served the ABP Group since 2005 in various roles. He donned the mantle of CEO of ABP Network in January 2019, prior to when he had served for more than 7 years as the ABP Group's Chief Operating Officer. Avinash steered the transformation of the channel from Star News to ABP News in 2012, along with its rebranding and repositioning in 2020. I remember I did a podcast with Jacob Benbunan, renowned international branding guru of Saffron Media, who was entrusted with the amazing rebranding. But to come back to my wonderful guest on this episode today, Avinash's more than 26 years of illustrious experience in the media sector includes a stint each with the Indian Express Group and the TV Today Group. Avinash, as I mentioned earlier, is a serving president of the News Broadcasters and Digital Association, NBDA, and he is also president of the IAA's India chapter. An alumnus of Harvard Business School and with a degree in history and a postgraduate degree in modern Indian history from Delhi University, the humble, soft-spoken Avinash is a gentlemanly, truly knowledgeable and evolved media and industry captain and thought leader, a statesman who has driven the news space in India. A true industry specialist, Avinash is a core member of the Digital News Publishers Association and a former director of the Indian Broadcasting Foundation. Avinash has also been a member of several committees, including the Media and Entertainment Committee of FICCI, chairman of the National Council on Entertainment and Media at ASSOCHAM, and has been on the Panel Advisory Committee of the Bureau of Outreach and Communication for the release of government advertisements, as also amongst the committee of experts appointed by the INB Ministry on ethical standards in media coverage. Needless to say, Avinash Pandey has won numerous awards and accolades that include, amongst others, let's see, CEO of the Year Award in 2022 and CEO of the Year Award at the National Awards for Excellence in 2022. He has been honored as the Media Person of the Year by the Indian chapter of the International Advertising Association, the IAA, and has won the Business Leader of the Year Award along with multiple other awards. So that's a brief introduction to my distinguished guest on MVP, the Master's Voice podcast, Avinash Pandey, Chief Executive Officer, ABP Network, President of the NBDA and President of the India chapter of the International Advertising Association. Avinash, welcome once again, and let's begin our conversation on this episode of MVP, the Master's Voice podcast from Mediabrief.com.
Thank you for calling me.
So Avinash, I want to begin with something which has been at the top of my mind, which is primarily what I wanted to speak to you about, because, in the next day or two, it's going to roll out. And it's an amazing IP. I know it's intellectual property, but I also see from you, it is also an EP, which is an emotional purpose, which is Ideas of India. And this is the second edition. Beautifully thought out. I've studied the entire theme of Ideas of India. And this truly is like a culmination so far of what you've been doing, and you said to me offline, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that too, of ABP Network's DNA to empower the nation with purpose. So obviously an event, an IP as big as this, which is going to last for a whole year, I hope you continue it, and I hope this percolates into your DNA of news telling every day in and day out, which already is there, but एक दिशा और मिल जाती है इसमें, थोड़ा सा बड़ा हो जाता है वो फील्ड जो है. तो मुझे आइडियाज ऑफ इंडिया के बारे में बताएं प्लीज.
See, it's a remarkable forum. When we created it, two things were in our mind. Number one, it should be a forum to exchange knowledge and not do a blame game. I'm here because of this, I'm here because of this. India has achieved a lot in the last 75 years. But we should also have a plan where we are going to go in next 25 years. And from that thought we started. And we then asked people that, would you like to say something as to celebrate your success? Say something that you want to do in future, which will make this country even greater than what we inherited. That's the whole purpose, that you leave the world as a better place than what you inherited, and leave our country in a better position than what you inherited.
Right.
And the remarkable thing about this, Pavan, is this, that we do not have an English channel. And the language is largely English plus Hindi. And we have other languages like Bengali, Marathi, Gujarati, where we are running number one news channels in all these areas. But the program is largely in English. And so it's truly a live event. Sponsors believe in us, so they put money behind. Speakers think that they are going to share something new. They are excited about it. Remarkable work done by my team. They have been working on this they work almost the entire year. Once the event gets over, they get into the mode of the next year event. And incredible set of speakers that they have managed to put together. I'm thankful to them for their hard work of what they have done. And these speakers are not just a bland speaker. There is a purpose on what they are speaking. So the way they talk and what they deliver in their talk would be something very, very unique, not done before, maybe not done after. I mean, that's the way we approach this particular show. And the proof is in the last year that we did. If you look at it, what Kailash Satyarthi promised, and he called my editor then to cook food at home and serve him, because he said, this is what I'll do. And a lot of things, I mean, the way Farid Zakaria talked about the problem at our border with China and what we should do. All these things, are absolutely unique when people come and speak at our forum. And it's not a political forum, so we don't discuss politics. We discuss ideas.
Correct.
That can make this country a greater place or bigger place than what we inherited. Yeah.
Correct. So you are actually not playing to the gallery of emotions. You are playing to the thinking minds and hearts that beat for the country, frankly. And it sounds a little grandiose saying that, but I think what Ideas of India actually does is bring people with unique experiences and insights that will empower people.
Absolutely.
So that's really good. Wonderful. So tell me a little more about Ideas of India. How is it going to roll out? Will it be across cities? and events, or will it be purely on linear and digital in a manner that everybody can join?
So right now we have no plan. It's an annual event, 2 days, back to back, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Almost about 35 to 40 speakers from different parts of the world who are coming and speaking here. And it's an annual event, and that's the way it is right now.
But what you will do, which you all did last year also, but I think you'll do it even better this time now, is that you have 40 speakers across 2 days, and the thoughts and expressed in words, in visuals, in writing, all of those can be collated and played out in a manner that helps not only embellish your content but also make sure that people benefit from it. So it becomes a movement. You've got this huge constellation of good people, great speakers, empowered and are able to speak about some experiential and important topics, and then you take that content out.
Yeah, so see, in 2 days' time, there are almost about 60 speakers, 30 each day, 30 each day speaking. It's not a small thing to pull off. But creating knowledge content is not like doing the brand extension of a soap brand. That you do this, you do that, there is some fragrance here, some fragrance there, different packaging and all that. It does not work that way. Media content and media programs, if done well, it should be left at that. If you start doing brand extension of those media products, you dilute the original content and original region for which you started that particular program.
The gravitas.
Yeah, and it completely destroys it. It's not a franchisee business kind of thing.
Absolutely. So Avinash, I did read your profile, but I really want to ask you to tell me about your journey. How did you enter the news space and have come to be leading one of India's most respected conglomerates, the ABP Network?
So, first of all, I came to news because, I can call it purely an accident. I came to Delhi to study history, prepare for civil services examination. One exam I failed and decided not to say sir to those classmates and friends of mine who have already cleared the examination. So I said, let me find my own way and do something new. Fortunately, I was lucky enough at that time, media space, particularly newspaper and 24/7 live television has not come in yet. But the private television broadcast had come already. It was expanding. I got an opportunity to work with Indian Express. One thing leading to another, I reached TV Today. And then I joined Star News, which eventually became ABP News. And here I am. So what I followed is that I continued to do one thing all the time.
Okay.
Which is working really, really hard and focusing on my work. And I really loved my work all along the way. There was not a single day when the work was not joy for me. So that's the way life is. Yeah.
Wonderful. And who was instrumental in your, not only just the understanding of news, आप आए थे कि ये नहीं करना, आप कुछ और करना है, और मीडिया अच्छा लग रहा है और अच्छा लग रहा है और न्यूज़ वगैरह तो, you got into that. But who or which leader or which senior or whoever influenced you enough to say, you are good at this is what you do so well, this is what you can do better, and you decided to stay and build something amazing from that beginning? Anyone you can recall?
See, there are a lot of people who helped me where I am today. That includes all my bosses.
Okay.
People I worked around, people I worked all through my career. But more importantly, some of my close classmates, school-time friends, they actually gave me honest feedback.
Wow.
And even today, we have a very close group of school friends and college friends. We talk on the weekend. Okay. And they are the one who tell you without having any acknowledgement of whether you are liking or disliking it. They have nothing to do with you. So they give you honest feedback. And that is really empowering for me to move into the next phase of what I do. But having said that, all my bosses contributed a lot. I learned a lot from them. And I am the person who not only learned from boss, but from everyone.
Yes.
So what Ramcharitmanas Tulsidas has written, Nana Puran Nigmagam Sammatam, he said that I did not have any knowledge. It is already written in all the Puranas and all the Vedas, So I'm just putting it here, what I've learned from other places.
Wow.
That's the way I look at my life. I do not come with a fixed point of view. I learn from people that I work with and meet in my life. That's the way it is.
वाह, आप अकेले ही चले थे लेकिन ज्ञान का कारवां बढ़ता गया.
आप सभी से सीख सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
सीखने के लिए तो कोई वो लिमिट नहीं है.
No, and I see how you also speak with the people who work with you, and okay, obviously you're the boss, or आप सबसे सीनियर मोस्ट हैं पूरे ग्रुप में, नेटवर्क में. लेकिन I think you encourage reverse mentoring also from your younger people, and there's a wonderful openness. In fact, I was honestly I hadn't come to this particular office of yours in Bombay, and I was looking for it on Google, and I saw some very, very good reviews, really. Lovely place, great office, very good work culture. अलग-अलग लोगों ने और अपने तरीके से बोला. So I think a lot has to do with you. अविनाश जी, ABP का DNA क्या है? ये बताएं, क्योंकि ये बहुत ही ज़मीनी स्तर पे जुड़ा हुआ है हर एक व्यूअर कंज्यूमर के साथ. And it is a part of, it's on the home pages, mental home pages of everyone who's watched it. So tell me about the ABP DNA, its work culture, its lineage strength. What makes you proud about the ABP network?
So ABP network has a very clear-cut guideline that we are in a business to inform, educate, and entertain, and finally make this country powerful country or a superpower in the world. We want to get our place in the world. At ABP Network, we'll, through our fearless reporting, groundbreaking coverages, and world-class programming, we also make a lot of good programs. We want to help India achieve those objectives. But more importantly, any organization is made by the people who work at that place.
Absolutely.
So we are very careful in selecting people who work for us, because you must be having a purpose in your own life, and that sole purpose should not be making money alone.
Absolutely. We spoke about that right in the beginning when I spoke about ABP Ideas of India. I think it's truly, and I'll reiterate what I said in the beginning, it's an amazing proof of your desire to drive profit with purpose.
Absolutely. So money is a byproduct of what you do. Your purpose should not be only to make money, because money can be made by anything else.
Right.
If you're in a business of media, our first job is to let the truth or the right information reach to the public.
Right.
And we do it in an unbiased way. When I say unbiased, means we say what is there in front of us.
Correct.
The available information should be told without any mirch masala. So I think when people join our company, if they believe in this, they work longer here, and that's why you will find most of the people in ABP Network are lifer. They have spent. Now we are just going to complete 20 years. 2003 March we started from when the NDTV got separated from Star News, and it started, and ABP invested in this. It is 20 years, and many of our employees are now completing 20 years.
Wow.
And they are all very senior people, editors of different channels. On an average, you will find 10 years plus is a very given thing. Even in our digital business, which has started only about 5 years ago, I find a lot of people who joined at the time when we started the business, they are here and they are working hard, and they work with passion. And that's what ABP drives in you, because you get the freedom to work in your own way. There is no imposition on you that this is the right way to work. As long as you reach the goal by fair means, we allow that experiment to happen at the workplace. And that is when the creativity comes. Because it's a creative business. If you design boundaries of the creativity, then you can never be a good creative company. I tell you a very interesting example. I once, at the beginning of when I started working for Star News, I went to Calcutta to recruit some people. And the people who came to give me interview, they were extremely happy with this thing only, that they have come to give an interview in an ABP office. Can you imagine? And they said it's a lifetime ambition. My parents would be proud, my neighbor. And I realized that, look, that humbles you.
touches lives.
That makes you so responsible, saying that, look, how caring people are about this brand.
Amazing.
So whatever you do, you have to keep that in mind, that millions of people have a very good thing about this brand ABP, and that you should not.
Right. It's a strong emotional connect and respect.
Absolutely.
Excellent. And also remember, you also have the strength of the amazing ABP lineage.
Absolutely.
Of 100 years. So, even their parents, बाप दादा माता पिता सभी लोगों ने उसको बड़ी इज्जत से देखा है और उसको यूज किया है, उसका सहारा लिया है जिंदगी भर.
Absolutely.
And like you said, it's all about storytelling. The story is the news story. Fiction होता है GEC में, लेकिन यहाँ तो actual things. And very nicely you also mentioned something which a lot of news leaders that I've spoken to, not that उन्होंने नहीं कहा तो वो ये नहीं करते, लेकिन you made it a point to say by fair means. That is something that tells me it's ingrained in the DNA and the culture, and I'm sure that, and that's my next question, और उसमें ये शायद phrase जरूर आएगा. कोई यंगस्टर आपके पास आता है, ज्वाइन किया, आज पहला दिन है, चाय कॉफी हो गई, सब कुछ हो गया, आइए बैठिए. और सीनियर्स की तो बात तो खैर अलग होती है, आपने बात की हुई होती है और वो भी जानते हैं. लेकिन ये मैंने यंगस्टर कम्स टू यू, what are the things you tell them in the first 1 or 2 minutes?
So first of all, I'm incredibly lucky that I work with some great people. But when they come to your room or to meet you, or they meet you in the town hall or something, they have a glitter in your eyes when they look at you.
Wow.
And that's the biggest satisfaction you get, and that makes you responsible. So when they talk to me as to what are the things that are important for the organization, because finally we are meeting together because of work.
Correct.
Right? So my thing to them is that, look, first of all, there is no substitute to hard work. And there is nothing wrong in asking questions. Ask as many questions as possible. Okay? Because you should not have regret that you did not ask for it.
Yes, I would rather ask a stupid question than make a silly mistake.
Absolutely. So if you create a culture of asking question, and I tell my people always, even my friends also, my daughter also, my family also, that look, asking a question does not mean questioning. Asking a question reflects curiosity.
Yes, not your ignorance.
Not your ignorance. And you are not pointing a finger to someone. You are asking a question.
Correct.
You are curious to know what happened.
And you're treating your job responsibly.
Absolutely. And if you do that day in, day out, and to continue to do your hard work, you don't need to be super intelligent. There is nothing called super intelligent. You don't need to be a SAT score 1590 or something like that to excel in your work. It's a great place to shine then.
Correct. मेहनत और ईमानदारी, and also not being worried to ask a question कि will I look foolish? No, not at all. अब ये बताइए कि इंडस्ट्री इवेंट्स होते हैं, एसोसिएशंस होते हैं, nothing seems to be doing anything new nowadays, frankly.
I agree with you.
Because what happens is, I actually was on a panel at a music fest about 4 years ago. And I told that entire room full of about 1,000 people who had come to network exchange cards, बहुत अच्छी बात है, अपने बिजनेस के लिए आए हैं, आपने फीस भरी है, जो भी किया है अच्छा है, networking is very good, it empowers the business. But during my panel discussion, I asked them, I said, everybody here throughout the day has been shouting at the government, and justifiably so, कि ये नहीं हो रहा, वो नहीं हो रहा, सरकार जो है या जो डिस्पेंसेशन है हमें सपोर्ट नहीं करती है. और वो चाहे रेडियो पर म्यूजिक हो या फिर म्यूजिक क्रिएटर्स और लेबल्स हों, सबके पास बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स थी, आर्टिकल 25 वगैरह जो भी थे, कॉपीराइट एक्ट वगैरह. तो आई आस्क्ड देम, आई सेड, do you have an agenda that you want to put together after the day's proceedings and submit it respectfully to the government and the ministry? They said, we don't want you to tell us what to do. But nobody did anything. और मैं जब आपसे ऑफलाइन मैंने बात की थी, अभी रमेश नारायण जी के यहाँ मिले थे हम लोग, I sense and I know that you are very keen to empower the young professionals, to blood them into associations, to get them in, ताकि थोड़ी सी क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन यंगर थॉट्स की भी आए. मैं ये बात मानता हूँ कि अब एक साथ ओवरनाइट चेंज करने से क्या होता है, द यंगस्टर्स ऑल्सो विल बी लेफ्ट रडरलेस. Those who are experienced, maybe at the rate of 20% a year, keep additions, right? I don't know, but suppose I were to say that, अविनाश जी, आपके पास कार्ड ब्लांच है. आपने ये देखना है कि जो आपके दिल में बहुत समय से मैं जानता हूं जो बात है, और बहुत सारे इंडस्ट्री के अच्छे जो इवॉल्व लीडर्स हैं वो भी सोचते हैं कि यंगस्टर्स को कैसे ब्लड करें. तो इंडस्ट्री लेवल पे, ताकि पूरी इंडस्ट्री और सेक्टर और सब सेक्टर का अलग अलग जो है वो भला हो, आप अगर इसको, आपसे कहा जाए कि आप इसको लीड करें और लोगों को लेके, आप क्या करेंगे? कैसे आप उनको लाना चाहेंगे? किस तरह से उनको ब्लड करेंगे?
See, the industry body has to work harder. I have been saying this for a long time in all the industry body that I participate in. Is that first thing that you have to listen to them. Are we listening to what they are saying that the industry needs to change? Second thing is this, that are we giving them enough platform where they can come and voice their opinion amongst the seniors of the industry? They are not aspiring to become the club president, or they're not aspiring to become INS president or something like that. They are aspiring to become their voice to be heard.
Absolutely.
And if they have something to say as an industry, seniors, everybody is I mean, I'm just 50 plus, but compared to what in US you call young, I'm still young. But the industry used to be very, very much younger than what it is today. And we have a problem today in attracting good talent from colleges. And the reason is this, that we are not able to attract good talent because we are not showing them that this is an industry which can actually make your career in a much bigger way than what you can think of. There was a time when people used to apply for television job or the advertising job, as the first choice. Today it is not so. A lot needs to be done to include them. But more than that, just giving them the forum, the leaders have to show a hope and a direction that where this industry is going and what noble profession that I am in. Please understand, it's not a business of selling a commodity.
Right.
It's a business of communicating something to the society, which may end up generating consumption for other products. It is a business of communicating with the people of India, in the context of India, or the larger viewers and readers and listeners.
Diaspora worldwide. That we are saying what is the right thing to do. Right. We are saying that what is the way the news reporting should happen. We are saying how advertising copy should be written, which should be gender sensitive. Yeah.
So a lot of areas where unless we don't show them that there is a hope and there is a direction in which we are taking the industry, you'll attract talent. Fortunately, IA at its level is doing a lot. International Advertising Association in India, of which I am the president right now.
Yes.
But for last 7-8 years, they have done a remarkable work in all these areas. And I hope that this inspires younger people to join the media and entertainment industry and see it as a career.
Absolutely. अच्छा, अब ये बताएं कि measurement जो TV का हो रहा है, the entire measurement of TV, BARC is an industry created body, but some news channels have problems with it. You are an industry leader, I hold in very high regard, Avinash. So tell me your clear-cut views on BARC India. क्या सही है, क्या अच्छा है, क्या तुरंत बदलना चाहिए, और क्या समय के साथ साथ सुधारा जा सकता है? It's like a BARC का एक SWOT दे दीजिए for the younger professionals.
See, BARC के बारे में बहुत पब्लिकली बोल चुका हूँ, सो उसको ज़्यादा बोलने की ज़रूरत नहीं है
जी.
BARC को समझना होगा उनको क्या करना है. बिकॉज आपने बोला कुछ न्यूज़ चैनल, मुझे लगता है कोई भी ऐसा न्यूज़ चैनल नहीं है इस देश में जो BARC के मेजरमेंट सिस्टम को लेकर क्वेश्चन ना कर रहा हो.
ओके.
राइट.
नहीं, कुछ तो दो तो छोड़ के जा चुके हैं.
करेक्ट. देखिए, नॉट एवरीवन विल बी सेटिस्फाइड ऑल द टाइम.
करेक्ट.
But a measurement science should be able to satisfy a maximum number of people most of the time.
Correct.
Right? Here the things are just the opposite.
Okay.
So maximum number of people most of the time are not happy with what it is being projected. And why news channels have a problem, I also tell you. Because unlike entertainment, news channels get a feel from the ground every day.
Yes.
Most news channels have a reporter or a ground presence in every district of India. So you get feel as to what people are watching, what people are consuming. Second, you have a lot of feedback coming from politicians, who are actually directly in touch with their voters, which are your constituency for TV consumption also, right?
Yes.
because BARC list comes from the voter list only, right? BARC meter homes as per the BARC measurement science. So they keep giving you the feedback as to what is being watched, and when there is a disconnect, that's when people complain saying that it's not right and etc. Having said that, we have already put forward from the News Broadcasters and Digital Association our points that what BARC needs to do, which thankfully at the board level of BARC they have accepted that these things need to be done, which is expanding panel homes, use of technology, doing away with system which is based on manual interference, whether it is pressing the button in front of the TV that no, I'm now watching TV and I'm not now watching TV and all that. This is still the very archaic system. You can actually manage it through the heat mapping very easily. The technology available. So use of latest technology, using RPD, use expanding panel homes, and removing absolutely zero interference from the malware intervention. Also, once the panel home becomes larger, that some of the members who may be involved in doing dual LCNs or some other kind of marketing activity to boost their rating in a way which is not directly reflection of their content, their impact will go away. And it's in the interest of the country, it's the interest of the business, advertisers, and overall for the democracy that the news should be rightly measured.
Correct. And look, landing pages are a legal thing allowed by the government and GECs use it and all. But I do understand that there's a lot of angst about, the sort of viewership of landing pages creeping into BARC ratings. Does that happen and how?
See, the landing page issue is why for news is so much this thing is that number one, this industry has not seen the scale of the landing pages that we are seeing right now. Second, the sample size of the news is very, very small.
Yes.
And in that small sample size, if there is a large landing pages, then obviously it
overturns the ratings completely.
Absolutely. Third point is this, that look, it's a free country. If landing page is legally allowed, people are doing it. I have no problem with that. My problem is that if the BARC could increase its sample size, then probably this problem would not be this much. Third one is that, look, the news business model is flawed. There is zero subscription revenue. And when somebody starts spending so much of money, then other people are not, your balance sheet, if you do your business honestly, the balance sheet does not allow of so much of cash to go out. And what happens if somebody or any channel starts pumping a lot of money because they are cash rich, they're funded well, then it creates a pressure point on all the other news channels because everybody is actually targeting a very small pie.
Yeah.
That problem does not happen in entertainment business because the pie is very, very
massive.
Large.
Yes.
So one or two channel taking landing pages does not impact the industry. But here, because the pie is so small, one or two taking landing page actually impacts.
Absolutely. No, that's a very balanced perspective. You mentioned NBDA, and truly amazing, and well, not amazing in a surprising way, but very, very good, amazing for the industry that you're the president of the NBDA. What are your priorities? You already told me what you've gone and, represented to BARC on behalf of the industry in the sector of news broadcast. What else is important, and how is the NBDA actually working to empower the news space? Let me just tell you one thing. मेरी एक छोटी सी चीज़ है कि न्यूज़ में यही एक ऐसी कैटेगरी है जहाँ कोई चैनल कहता है इस हफ्ते मैं 11.1% पे हूँ मेरा मार्केट शेयर, और हमने नंबर 2 और नंबर 3 जिनका 10.9 और 10.8 था, हमने उन्हें निस्तो नाबूद कर दिया. अब 0.2% हो या 5% भी हो, छोटे से उसमें, और even if it's on a big thing, the point is there are two things that are being said more often than not. I am good, they are terrible. So it just seems to fracture the whole spirit of and the ability, or the, let's say, the bargaining power of this wonderful news sector, right? With the media buyers and the others. So what is it? I mean, eventually, I hope the NBDA can, under your leadership, at least you can get them to start thinking of coming together. आपने 2 न्यूज़ की एसोसिएशंस या फेडरेशंस बना रखी हैं आपस में, और किस तरह से आप ही शायद अब उनके वो जोड़ने वाले बनेंगे. बट व्हाट इज द वे अहेड?
Pavan, that's actually a very sad state of affairs, as you rightly pointed out, by people taking out data that I am 1% above than you and all that, etc. You will never find that kind of marketing communication in any other industry where you attract your audience of commercial audience by saying that you have more market share than others. Because when somebody comes to advertise with you, he is not looking at market share, he's looking at your audience, that what audience you are catering to. And that is why in good market conditions, pre-pandemic, if you look at it, all channels were selling approximately 60 lakh secondaries or above, and that reflected that actually for every channel there is an audience size to which advertisers wants to reach out to. So when in an industry you start comparing with your peers all the time, you end up destroying the industry.
Yes.
And I think that should stop.
Right.
Sooner everybody realize this is better. From my side, I'm trying my best to happen. Second thing, you spoke about the industry getting separated. Two of the members, prime members who actually started this separate body, were member of NBDA earlier. And I believe that the NBDA code of conduct is very, very strong. It's very high on the standard mechanism of monitoring the content. And I will encourage that the industry should come together. If not, at least on the major issue, we should be all together. The challenges today is we are I can tell you the industry is at a strategic inflection point. If the leaders don't act now, this industry will suffer for a long time and a very painful death.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because see, when social media came, they took away the power from you to tell everything.
Yes.
Today, everybody is a publisher and everyone is a broadcaster. In an environment like that, your credibility counts more than anything else, right?
Yes.
And your ability to produce world-class programming counts above everything else. Now, in that situation, it is very important that we sit together and work out a kind of programming which is actually beneficial not only from the consumer point of view, but also for larger public good. Because business, the news business, is a business for good. It should be able to show mirror to the power, truth to the power, reflect the society's problems, and at the same time help people improve their life by showing news you can use. And this is happening across now, not only through cable but through digital medium, which is connected TV, all kind of devices, streaming news items. And you are competing now today in a space where the power does not just belong to you. It is democratized and universally distributed. So in that situation, I think the media owners needs to sit together and think that what they will do so that they can be relevant in this digital environment. And your purpose for which you started the business, that to inform, educate, and entertain, remains to the core and should help the country, the world, from fake news, which is predominantly available on social media. That's where we come in the picture, because our newsrooms have a process. The facts are verified, double-checked, and we go by the primary source, not by the secondary source, before we deliver the news. So I think news channels have to reinvent the kind of content that they make. They have to adopt new technology to reach out to more people and understand how the connected TV and the digital streaming medium works. And if we don't do this, those businesses which will understand, they will survive. Those businesses which don't, they will not.
Well said. That's a wonderful overview. And I think it's going to give a lot of insights, not just to the younger professionals, but also to your peers and even others who are in the space. Because it's time to sit back and reflect and, look back and look forward. That's very, very important.
One thing about the youngsters, because you mentioned this, I would like to say that this is I tell you, I love this industry, And the reason I love it, because it allows you to understand about every other industry on earth.
Absolutely.
So you if you want to know about how the consumer goods are doing, you can understand that, you can work in that sector. If you're an advertising executive, if you want to understand the economy of the country, you can actually report on that and understand that. You want to understand policing system, army system. I mean, this is an industry which allows you to experiment with your thought in all areas that is possible on earth. And that's why it is so amazing place to be.
Wonderful, wonderful. Avinashji, you said that the industry has to look at itself and reinvent and become even stronger. You see, what has really shocked me is that during the extended lockdown periods of COVID, it was the news channels, and to a smaller extent because people were not driving and so radio was not really being listened to, even though the radio media owners claim otherwise, and I respect them. लेकिन न्यूज़ टेलीविजन ही एक ऐसा जरिया था जिससे कि सबको पता चलता था कि क्या हो रहा है कोविड के दौरान. ये 2 सालों में तो उसे और बहुत ज़बरदस्त बढ़ना चाहिए था और बढ़ा भी था. But I see today that, after BARC came out with its ratings about 4.5 months, 5 months back, that news has gone down as nearly halved or even less than that, more than that rather, from a 15% market share to, 4 and 5%. So, I mean, I find that inexplicable and I cannot digest that. What do you think has led to this kind of reflection? मुझे लग रहा है कि आईना थोड़ा सा crooked है यहाँ. और crooked का मेरा मतलब ये नहीं है कि किसी को कोई axe to grind है या crime हो रहा है, लेकिन why is it not reflecting the correct picture?
देखिए, आप लोगों की भावनाओं को परसेंटेज में मत तोलिए. ये देश जो है वो शायद ही कोई ऐसा आदमी होगा जो न्यूज़ नहीं कंज्यूम करता होगा.
बिल्कुल.
ऑन इन वन फॉर्म और द अदर.
जी.
सो people are watching. And I have reasons to believe that news cannot be so low in terms of market share.
Right.
Even if I go by BARC measurement system. Having said that, I think people are also shifting from watching on cable to watching live on YouTube, watching live through connected TV, watching live through your own app and on websites.
Correct.
They are watching.
Yes.
Right? Right now, BARC is not measuring any of that other area except cable and satellite. Right? The second thing is that look, somehow I feel that that when a big news happens, the news should reflect a larger size of the audience than what normally does not. Right? What I have seen in last 2 years, or since the time the BARC has come back after the dark period, it is just not reflecting that element at all. I mean, big shows done by big news channels. I'm not even counting ABP News right now. I'm saying that, let's say, a show which is showing on YouTube a number which is unprecedented ever. Next week the rating comes, it does not even has this thing. So,
a presence, yes.
So I believe that, look, a content is a content. Whether Pathan people watch in theatre or later on Amazon Prime, they will have a similar kind of attraction to that content because the content is attractive, right?
Yeah.
Irrespective of the platform, people will watch it. What BARC always says that no, medium signal delivery. I don't believe in all that medium signal delivery has a significant impact. And if there is a good content, people will look for it, go and watch it.
Appointment viewing is happening now.
Right? If there is a good brand in news is sold on the brand. Where the credibility is coming from? Coming from the brand. If it is news is coming from the ABP house, it has to be credible. That's what people believe in. And people should do the fact checking after they watch any other news. They go to the ABP to watch that, okay, this news is correct because it is coming on ABP. If that is the relationship of the consumer, then I don't think so it can be 5% of the overall genre where there are so many players and day in, day out putting live content all the time. I think it is almost impossible. Also, there is a lot that, how in small towns and villages people are consuming local news channels is also something that BARC has not effectively captured.
Right.
See, we are not America. Where from East Coast to West Coast, people have cereals in the breakfast, do barbecue on the weekend and go to your brother-in-law's home, right? Here, two of us must have had very different breakfast today in the morning, and every 50 kilometer the water changes and so are the food. So our habits and consumption behaviors are very, very different. the garment industry understands it very well. So if you go to a garment shop, the same Marks and Spencer, maybe in a particular city, a small town, vis-a-vis a big city, you'll find a different range of selection of clothes. But when it comes to content selections, because we are a linear medium, we are giving this content for across the country. And what television content does is that it tries to appeal to your emotion rather than the knowledge more. Knowledge is part of this because it is happening, it is live. You will see what somebody is speaking or saying. But if you appeal to the audience through emotions, which most news channels do, I don't see that the numbers would be that small.
Why not sell then purely and only ABP Network, for instance, since I'm talking to you about it, linear plus digital combined?
So I tell you, for last 1.5 years, we are doing this.
Okay.
We were the first one to start it. All advertising packages our sales team gives in the market includes digital, unless they don't want it. But it is we sell together.
But I'm sure you must be making a great case for digital, because I did watch the election results also, and it was quite well patronized by the viewers. Yeah.
So as long as you don't have the power to skip the ad, I think it would work well, because ad is the only where the consumer is by watching it is paying us, otherwise
But then YouTube has already established this. Indians do not, the mass, मेरे और आपके और मोहित जी के फोन पे बहुत सारे OTT एप्स भी होंगे. हमारा टीवी का घर का लीनियर वाला जो बिल होगा वो 300, 400, 500 रुपए होगा, लेकिन एप्स पे मेरा महीने का बिल करीब 2,500 से 3,000 है. आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू. बट वी आर अ स्मॉल परसेंटेज ऑफ पीपल हु आर सो ड्रिवन. यूट्यूब हैज डेमोक्रेटाइज्ड इट फ्रॉम डे वन. फ्री में देखेंगे, हम क्यों पैसे भरें भाई? सो लाइक यू सेड करेक्टली, एंड नाउ थैंकफुली दिस एबिलिटी टू स्किप एड्स और काउंट अ 3-second blink of an eye as a view is gone.
Yeah, I think, also the news industry has to reinvent its business model. I think what is easily available content, which is like a political rally or a headlines and etc., you may get it free, but anything curated content or a special program should be behind a paywall.
Absolutely.
And then only this industry will grow further. Because advertising funded market cannot work when there are too many players in the market and more or less all of them are showing the same footages and videos. Yeah.
Wow. Last question. You are a very knowledge driven person and you like to empower youngsters. Let's talk also about, like you said, news is all about a social contract and driven by purpose to using the power of media for the greatest good, in a manner of speaking. And I remember that from what Uday Shankar, your former senior associate, said.
His own boss.
Yes, and this is a sentence that has just sort of, etch हो गया है मेरे दिल में. बहुत अच्छी बात है ये कि use the media for the power of good. एंड जब ये बात है तो एक तो हमने सोसाइटी को, आपने, न्यूज़ चैनल्स ने, नेटवर्क्स ने इंस्पायर किया और उन्हें खुद अपने कंक्लूजन्स लेने के लिए उन्हें उत्साहित किया, राइट? प्रोवोक नहीं, एनकरेज किया. सेकेंडली, देयर इज ऑल्सो इन्फॉर्मिंग द व्यूअर्स एंड द प्रोफेशनल्स अगेन टुगेदर ऑन व्हाट विल हेल्प देम थिंक better for society when it's an individual who's a consumer or for industry and sector. Because जो आपका purpose है as the head of the entire ABP network is dual. One is to your company so that it drives the maximum profit with the fairest of means, so that you can plow that back into making better and more engaging and inspiring and sometimes even entertaining content which is going to empower people. So learning and empowerment within ABP Network and for your viewers and the people of India. How do you approach these two distinct things?
See, what you do on a daily basis, there's nothing better place than that for you to learn.
Right.
But at the same time, I encourage people to, in my company at least, I encourage them to develop a hobby, go do theater, learn music, learn the art of cooking, do something else also, so because when you do something else, you understand society better. And that knowledge, where do you get to bring to the table? To my workplace, right? To our workplace. And you'll help this company become a better place. Also, I tell you, the purpose, the way my professor at HBS, Ranjay Gulati, defined for me is that look, the purpose has to solve the business problem profitably.
Yes, how? Absolutely.
Right? Because if you don't make profit in what you do, whatever you do, you'll no longer be able to do. Right?
Okay.
While solving the business problem, we must make profit. And that every employee or every person who is working for any firm, whether young or old, has to be conscious that conscious of that. My work should lead to better revenue for the company.
Talking about knowledge and learning, and I know that you go to the IITs, to the ISBs of the world and deliver. I don't think you deliver lectures, but you engage with the young professionals in the making and share your knowledge and insights. Tell me about the Harvard experience.
Well, this is the best gift I received from my promoter's family. So they sent me there. I was lucky to be selected in the MP class, and it's a life-changing experience.
थोड़ा सा और बताएं, थोड़ा डिटेल विस्तार से बताएं.
They say that anyone who comes to do AMP is never the same again. He or she is never the same again. And that is true for AMP. So it's the oldest course of HBS, running for almost since its foundation. Ratan Tata did it in 1970s. It's that old. I mean, it started in 1940s, if I'm not wrong. So it's a great course. I cannot explain in a podcast what happens there, but I'm saying that if you are at a stage in your career where they take you into this class, which is at least you should have 20 plus years of work experience, and you should be in a position to head a business or a company. I think one must do it, irrespective of where you did your MBA from, because many of my classmates were from IIM Calcutta and IIM Ahmedabad who did at one point of time. It's a transformative course. It teaches you something which you have never learned before, I can tell you.
Anything that stands out? बहुत सारी चीजें सीखी होंगी, लेकिन
everything. Every single moment of that place looks like that you are drinking from a fire hose.
Wow.
It's an amazing experience, yeah.
Is there anything else that you wish I had asked you or you'd like to share with our listeners?
Younger people who are coming to the business of journalism, it's a profession where you require a spine.
Yes.
Okay. When I joined Indian Express, my then boss used to have a picture of that in his room, saying that if you don't have that, don't join this profession. And it's a noble profession. One should invest time into getting to the deep of the story and tell that story in an entertaining and engaging way. So I would encourage more younger people to join this profession. Country needs good journalists, and good media companies depend on good journalists. So
lovely.
And Pavan, also I would like to say that look, advertisers, I don't think so. They are only looking at ratings or something. They look at brands which are driven by purpose. And I'm so thankful that I worked with some amazing colleagues of mine in the advertising industry who continue to believe in the brand ABP. Whenever there is a campaign break, whether they're a client or an agency, first stop that they have is to talk to us on finding the solution. And that's why I think, the leaders in the news industry, whether us or other 3-4 more players who are legacy brands, I think they are doing an amazing job. And people go to those brands rather than going by the TRP. People don't switch on the remote by knowing which channel has got the highest TRP. And they go to the brand that they love. So
absolutely.
And I'm thankful that advertising agencies have great faith in the news industry.
And in ABP Network.
And
yes.
ABP Network.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised at all. Wonderful. You're tuned to MVP, the Master's Voice podcast from Mediabrief.com. I'm your host and friend Pavan Chawla. With me is an amazing professional, Avinash Pandey, Chief Executive Officer, ABP Network. Avinash, why should India watch and why does it watch ABP Network?
Because you don't get only one side of the view here. You get all sides of view here. And you are well informed, educated and entertained at the end of the day.
Wonderful. More strength to you, Avinash. So, Avinash, I have truly enjoyed this conversation and a lot of insights, a lot of, statesman-like thinking and thoughts. And I'm sure that you're the kind of person who I know has the tenacity to follow through on them. And I'm sure that, for instance, the one thing that you mentioned which stuck in my mind because it's such a big pain point is NBDA telling BARC, please set your house in order. We are here to help you. Right. So that is the spirit and purpose. So I enjoyed the insights. What did you think of your chat with me so far on MVP?
Look, Pavan, I never knew you were such a good podcaster also.
That's high praise coming from you.
So I really enjoyed the conversation and hopefully we'll talk more very soon, maybe in a couple of months' time when things, a lot of in the regulatory space, a lot of changes are happening right now.
Sure.
So let's keep chatting and keep informing people about the good things that is happening in our industry. And Pavan, let me tell you, what a wonderful job Mediabrief is doing. I know it's really hard to do a show like this with the kind of technology and equipment that I see that you have got me into. And the kind of conversation that I have with media, I think it's a great organization you run, Pavan. Mediabrief, I wish all the best for future.
Thank you ever so much, Avinash. And thanks also once again to Mohit, who's facilitated this conversation. That was my distinguished guest, Avinash Pandey, Chief Executive Officer, ABP Network, on this episode of MVP The Master's Voice podcast from Mediabrief.com. I'm your host and friend Pavan Chawla, and I sincerely hope that you found this conversation as insightful, illuminating, and inspiring as I certainly did. Till we meet again in the next episode of MVP The Master's Voice podcast, this is your host and friend Pavan Chawla saying, take care, stay safe, stay well informed. Bye-bye.